Hi guys, what's up? So yeah, government in the past was outsourced because not everyone was busy, everyone was doing their own thing. And so we elected people to make policies, we elected people to vote on things for us. We would have politicians, they would say, vote for me and I will vote for this. I am for this kind of thing. So if you're for this kind of policy, if you're for this kind of thing, vote for me and I'm going to make that policy happen. And another one would say, no, I'm against that thing. If you don't want that thing to happen, vote for me and I will strongly oppose anyone that's trying to make this thing happen. And whoever's for a topic, a thing or a policy would vote for one person. And if they're for a different policy, they would vote for a different person, right? This is because, and what happened was they would basically vote like once a year or once every 4 years or every 2 years or whatever it is. And that politician was going to work on their behalf to represent what they wanted and everything because, everyone's voices couldn't be heard. So everything changes now with modern technology and the internet, where now basically you don't really need a politician to work for you and vote for things that that you want to be put into place. Now you can have an app or a website where you would just vote on things themselves, and the way computers compile numbers will tell everyone how many people voting for something and how many people are not voting for something or voting for something else or against something. And with popularity, basically whoever the majority gets to choose what policies are in effect. So if more people like one policy, then that policy will be in effect. And if less people like it, that policy won't be in effect. So if 60% of people are for something and 40% of people are against something, then they will put that policy into place because most people are into that. So what happens now with government is basically now, the government, the representatives vote for it, against it, whatever, but they don't necessarily vote according to what the people really, really want because they promised, I will vote for this, I will vote for that. But the thing is that it's up to them to actually do it. And sometimes they might represent what they were saying they were going to do. Other times they might not represent what they were saying they were going to do. But the point is that whole system is obsolete. It's not necessary anymore. People can vote things in themselves because the politician is just trying to represent the people. So when you have technology like the internet and apps and websites where people can directly vote for things, you no longer need a representative to vote for you. You don't need to outsource government. You can have the people voting in policies and, voting in whatever that they want, the direction they want their city or state or country or wherever they live to go, So if there's if somebody, if there's something up for a vote, should we put a new park in the middle of the city? And 80% of people vote for it, that's saying, yes, I want that park. And 20% of people say, I don't want a park. Then those 80% win and they put a park. The people that represent, the people that are, in I don't know, government or the people that are in that kind of make parks will just make a park for them. And the people that are into, budgeting money will pay for it and stuff like that. So basically that's kind of like all you need now, where you can have a direct vote. You don't have to vote for someone to put policies in place for you. You can directly vote for these policies yourself. And these votes can be extremely quick, extremely fast. You don't have to wait for the vote to happen on some board or wherever somewhere. Basically, the little question pops up on your screen saying, hey, for the country of this or for the state of this or for the land of this or the area of that, right? We want to know if we should make the speed limit 65 miles per hour or 70 miles per hour, right? And then people vote on it, right? It's a lot, it'll give you a lot more of an accurate representation of what the people want rather than having a government official that was elected vote on it, because that government official kind of knows what their people want because they listen to what the people are telling them, but but taking a quick vote on it, or they might take a poll. They used to take these polls on you where they call you up. Hey, can we ask you some questions so we can take a poll? And then they'll ask you a bunch of questions. What do you think of this policy? What do you think the government should do with that? And whatever. And then you would tell your opinion and why you think what you think and whatever. And it might go to a representative and might not. Who knows what happens to it, But the point is, it's more accurate and faster if you just vote for these things directly. That's what government is for. Government is supposed to represent the people. So the people directly voting for the topics, for the things that are up for vote, and creating things that should be up for vote is more of an accurate way of putting policies into place that the majority of people like, right? And that's the whole point. It's like, it makes sense to do what the majority does. And it's always that way. The majority votes, whether the majority is voting for a president or a majority is voting for a policy in the government or whatever it is. So have an app or have a website or whatever it is that brings up these topics. Like during elections, they ask you a couple of questions where you can vote directly on it. Proposition 1, 2, and 3. Basically like 2 or 3 things where they ask for your opinion. What should we do with this? And then you kind of read it and you vote directly on it. But the point is, we have the capability now with the computers and apps and everything and phones that we have the capability to vote directly on what we think should happen with policies, in the government, policies in the place where you live and everything. We could do that directly. So if someone says, should the speed limit go up by 5 miles on the highway, people can vote on it and right away. And it's easy to vote this way. It's not, there's no voting day where you have to actually wait in line, use complicated, weird machinery and papers, and you have to fill stuff out. It's just it's basically, it pops up on your phone and you're like, oh, or it's an app or something where you dial in the app and every day or every week or so, there's a list of things to vote on. There's a list of things to vote on and they compile it and they say, okay, 80% of people voted this. So the people really, really want this to be in effect. We're going to create a budget that's going to make this possible and then do whatever that is. So if we want to build a new road or something, we can do that. If we want to build a new park or something, we want to do that. If you want to take money from one thing that maybe is not as necessary, put that money into something else which is more necessary, we can do that. And we can do it directly from a vote. We can do it because people are voting directly. This is just something that was not possible. Maybe 10 years ago it was possible, but things don't happen that fast. This system is inevitable, I think. Eventually someone is going to make an app like this. And so eventually people are going to have websites like this. And I don't know if they have them now. They probably have some level of it. But we still have that old system where we have to elect people that hopefully, and we're not sure that they will, that hopefully will vote according to what we want them to vote for. Thing is, lots of times they don't actually vote for what we want them to vote for. But it's just such a clunky system. It's just so much easier to vote directly. And now you know what people want to do. And it's just so much easier to vote on your phone or vote on your computer, and it takes a minute rather than having a voting election day where a bunch of where you have to go and fill in a bunch of little who should be that and who should be this and whatever, or should we pass this law or should we pass that policy or whatever, so that's the thing. So it's just a matter of time. If they have any apps like this now, they're not really that prevalent. But I see this happening really, really fast. Someone is going to come up with an app, and it's going to be the app that people are going to reference to. They're going to say 80% of people voted for this. we should do this. We should allocate, but we should take the budget. We should put more money into this and do this because more people want this. More people want a policy that addresses this. More people want this for public schools. More people want this for colleges. More people want this policy for, infrastructure or whatever it is, or whatever it is, People can directly vote for what it is that they want their tax money to do, basically. We collect, people basically pay for it, but don't directly vote on it. They indirectly vote on it by electing people that they want to vote on it. But, that's the thing. So it's just so much easier to do it this way, and it's more of a direct thing. And it's much more, that this was the thing. So if 70% of people voted a certain way, then that's what they should actually do. That they should actually put that into place, because that's really the whole point of government anyway, is to find out what the majority of people want to happen in their government, in their local area, and make that happen. Put the budget together, put the plan together, and do it. So that's just, it's just something that it hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure that there's websites out there. They're just not that popular, but it should be a mainstream popular thing where, there are apps, there are websites where these things are counted up. And a lot of people don't really do these. If these websites exist, they're not popular enough that people know how they are, that know about them too much, and they actually participate on that website. So, it's great because we don't have to outsource government anymore. The people can actually be the government now. We don't have to outsource it. We can vote directly on what we want to vote for. If there is an important thing that they want to pass, they might ask, they might ask you to vote on it. And then also they might want to explain a little bit more about it so that people know why this is up for a vote and whatever. So people would read maybe a chapter or something, about it. They would kind of read the little article about what this would do. And people have a good idea of what, certain things would do and what they don't do. And they would read about it a little bit. If they want to read more about it, there'd be more information on that app. And people can just directly vote on it so that we know when something is passed, when a policy is passed, a vote is passed, we know that it's because the majority of people voted for it. The majority of people in the state or the government, the state or the city or whatever it is, or the country voted for it. That people in that local area of political influence voted for it, and it's just such more of an effective thing. You're not going to feel like, well, the government kind of voted it this way. We're not sure if the majority of people are for that, against it, and then there's more of a kind of a backlash. There's more of people trying to keep at it and whatever it is. But when there's a vote where people participate, there's an app or something or a website where people participate in a vote, and they would say there's you belong to a certain area where you live, and say there's how much ever amount of people, say there's 10,000 people where you live, there's 10,000 people. So say 8,000 of those people actually voted on that website. So you would know that the majority, and 70% of those people that voted actually voted a certain way. So the majority of people, exactly and undoubtedly what the majority of people want. And there's no mystery about it. It's it's real easy. It's just a thing. Do you want this policy or do you want another policy? It's just your opinion on this policy. And here's an article that gives you more information about this policy. And, and then you would have people just directly voting on policy, without having to elect people that might or might not represent them. You would have something that would just create policy directly from the internet, directly from cell phones. This has to be the future. This has to be the way politics are going, government is going, and has to be the way. Just because in the past this was not possible, people didn't have smartphones, people didn't have cell phones, there was no organized internet as much. This kind of thing was not possible in the past, but it's possible now. So it's a great idea to have a website or have some kind of app or something that's popular that people participate in, where people can vote on general things, on relevant things, on things that their country should do, on things that their state or city should do, their town should do. They should, whatever is being up for vote, the people can vote for that directly. And now it's like what the government does or what the people in place do directly reflect what the people, the majority of the people, want. So if you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I hope you guys, if you have any comments about anything I said, please comment. I love your comments. And I will see you guys in another video. Take care, and I hope you really like this video. Take care, bye.